What is literary theory? My name is Jennifer du Plessis, and this is what we will be talking about today. To understand literary theory, we first need to understand what literature is. So if you haven't seen our last video covering this, please pause here and give it a watch before continuing with this video. Literary theory deals with the study of literature. Shocking, I know. At its core, it dives into questions of how we come to read and understand literature. As you probably know by now, when we refer to literature, we typically mean poetry, narrative texts like short stories and novels, as well as dramatic texts or plays. Understanding literature has thus far not proven easy, and this field has only grown increasingly complex over time. Literary theory as its own philosophical field emerged around the 20th century, around what we call the linguistic turn, which is when language became the key focus through which we come to understand the world around us. After all, without language there would be no literature. As a starting point, it is useful to consider literature and literary studies part of the broader cultural environment in which literature exists. When we study literature, we want to understand it inside and out. Some theorists desire to understand what makes a poem, or a novel, a novel. Others are concerned with how we can best interpret textual meaning. We often look at the relationship between many different things to get a full picture of what it is we are looking at. Essentially, think about a text like a part of the human body, say, the brain. Neuroscientists want to know what the brain is made of, how it functions. They want to know how we use it, how it connects us to the rest of our bodies. They want to know how it helps us think. Literary theorists ask the same questions, dissecting literary texts in many different ways, and in so doing arrive at many different conclusions. Essentially, it aims to address the question of aboutness. Aboutness basically refers to the question, what is a text about? When we answer this question, we will say it is about X or Y, and thereby give an interpretation of, for example, a poem or short story. The problem with aboutness is that many interpretations, and often contradictory ones, exist, and no one approach seems feasible. Think about the time you and your friend have read the same book, but have arrived at different interpretations. The question of aboutness has allowed for literary theory as a field to flourish over time, with more people attempting to answer it. What we aim to do in this channel is give you a clearer idea of what different theories exist to address aboutness, how they help us view literature in a way that affects the way we think about the world. Literature is not simply stories we read, they reflect our realities. How they do so, however, remains up for constant debate. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If it's a really good question, we might even make a video about it. Thanks so much for watching.